ABC News, 7th of March 2024, Canada and a Canadian national detained in China for nearly 3 years settled. During a diplomatic dispute between the two nations, the Canadian government settled a dispute with one of two Canadians detained in China on national security charges for nearly 3 years. Wednesday, Michael Spavor's attorney, John K. Phillips, verified that a settlement had been reached but declined to provide further information. Phillips stated, "I can only confirm that the dispute between Mr. Spavor and the Canadian government has been resolved." Earlier on Wednesday, the Globe and Mail reported, citing an unidentified source, that Spavor and his fellow prisoner Michael Kovrig reached a mediated settlement worth approximately $6 million Canadian, $4.4 million US, after Spavor threatened to sue the government. Kovrig, who previously disclosed to the Globe and Mail that he was engaged in compensation discussions with Canada, did not respond to a request for comment. According to a report by the Globe and Mail, Spavor contended that his detention resulted from disclosing North Korea-related information to Kovrig, an employee of the Canadian Embassy in China, who subsequently relayed the information to his government. Kovrig was detained on leave from the embassy and employed by a think organization. Long held by the Canadian government, the two men were apprehended to exert pressure on Canada to release a senior executive of the Chinese technology company Huawei Technologies, who had been detained in December 2018 at the behest of U.S. authorities desiring her to face charges in the United States. The arbitrary detention of Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig by China is unacceptable and unjust, reaffirmed Global Affairs Canada in a statement on Wednesday. In recognition of their ordeal and the suffering caused by their arbitrary detention by China, the Government of Canada remains committed to supporting them as they endeavour to begin a new chapter in their lives, taking into account their circumstances and the impact of the 1,019 days China arbitrarily detained them. The department declined further comment, citing privacy concerns. Spavor, Kovrig, and Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou were detained and released on September 2, 2021. The same day that the Huawei arrest concluded and Meng Wanzhou was permitted to return to China, concluding the U.S. extradition case. According to China, the two Canadians are suspected of committing offenses that threaten national security. Spavor operated North Korea tours, business, and athletics exchanges, among other activities, in China on behalf of his organization, Pektu Cultural Exchange. He facilitated Dennis Rodman's 2013 visit to Pyongyang, the capital of North Korea, and he has held meetings with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Kovrig informed the Globe and Mail that his interactions with Spavor were conducted by the standards of laws, rules, and regulations governing diplomats. In December, Canada's intelligence watchdog issued a report stating that a program in which diplomats gather classified information overseas is not sufficiently monitored and has occasionally led to Canada's allies mistaking diplomats for spies. According to the report, accredited and declared diplomats comprise the program's officers, who overtly, through networks of government and non-governmental contacts, have gathered intelligence since 2002. In contrast to the United States, which maintains a covert intelligence agency, the CIA, Canada frequently receives information garnered by diplomats that is shared with the Canadian Security Intelligence Service. Guy Saint-Jacques, the former Canadian ambassador to China and Kovrig's former supervisor, stated that the settlement did not indicate that Kovrig was a spy. An agent would employ covert methods to achieve their objectives. Everything was completely transparent in this instance, he stated. Saint-Jacques remarked that Spavor's status as a foreigner with access to the head of North Korea distinguished him. Most likely, the federal government was aware of his lifestyle. Presently, he cannot return to China to reside or organize excursions in North Korea. This significantly affects his work prospects and way of life, Saint-Jacques stated.